Most definitely. Do you think that Charles will be able to move on from this and not allow his tenure as king, his reign, to be tainted by this scandal?
Ooh, I mean, there's so much that King Charles has had to dodge over the last few years. Racism allegations, Harry and Meghan lobbing those from the United States.
January 26 arrived after the royal family survived one of the most controversial years in modern history. But now a shocking revelation has emerged, one so damaging it could tear everything apart. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the disgraced former prince who lost all titles and status, has alleged ties to Meghan Markle that were never meant to be discussed openly. New reports suggest Meghan and Andrew moved within the same high society circles years before Harry ever entered her life. These are claims involving shared elite networks the palace allegedly tried hard to hide. What makes this situation explosive is how Charles and Catherine are said to be reacting privately, in ways that hint they know more than the public does. The palace is reportedly in crisis mode, because if these royal whispers are accurate, if Andrew truly knew Meghan before her marriage through elite connections, then serious questions follow. Harry may be the last to realize how deep those ties go. Prepare yourself, because what comes next challenges everything believed about Meghan Markle and the royal family.
I've been told from an excellent source that both Andrew and Sarah are in a bit of a quandary, a bit of a dilemma. As you know, the stories are just emulating every single day and they're never positive. The problem is this particular ongoing investigation regarding Jeffrey Epstein and his disgraceful behaviour. There's no other two ways to describe it.
Here's what insiders claim is unfolding now. Andrew lost everything in October 2025. King Charles removed his royal title, forced him out of Royal Lodge, and stripped away every remaining privilege. Andrew fell from Prince Andrew, Duke of York, to simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. When someone loses it all, attention turns to what they already knew. Sources within royal circles claim Andrew had information about Meghan Markle long before Harry entered the picture, details about her presence in elite social spaces, details about her interactions with powerful men within the same networks Andrew moved through. What has insiders unsettled is this. Andrew's household leaked news of Harry and Meghan's relationship to the press in October 2016. That's confirmed. Tina Brown reported that a House of York staff member alerted tabloids. Why would Andrew's staff do that? What reason would they have?
There's something strange here that's starting to become a pattern, and you can see it here in this video. Right after he says, "I found the love of my life," there is a weird pause of discomfort. You do not have to be a profiler or anything to see this. You'll feel it.
I'd now found the love of my life.
Unless Andrew already knew something about Meghan, unless there was shared history in elite circles that pushed him to reveal the relationship early, unless he was sending a warning before it went further. Look at the timeline. Meghan was reportedly active in yacht events and high-end networking years before meeting Harry. Andrew was deeply involved with Jeffrey Epstein within those same elite environments. The overlap is hard to ignore. One detail never quite fit. When Harry introduced Meghan to the royal family, she supposedly thought Prince Andrew was a staff member. That's Harry's story. Meghan saw Andrew and assumed he worked there. Really? Meghan was already close friends with Princess Eugenie before meeting Harry. That's confirmed. Eugenie is Andrew's daughter. So how could Meghan know the daughter well but not recognize the father? That story doesn't make sense.
There's no coming back for him, is there? I mean, you detail a lot of it in the book. There's a lot of stuff that I wasn't aware of. But he can't come back now, surely.
I wouldn't have thought so. I don't think he'd necessarily want to. I mean, he's been pretty bruised from the whole of the experience.
Royal biographers raise the same concern. How can someone be close to a daughter yet fail to recognize her father? It only makes sense if something else was happening. Why would Meghan not recognize Andrew or act as if she didn't? Because admitting she knew him would raise questions about where they met, how they met, and which circles they shared, questions she likely wanted avoided. Acting confused was the safer option, treating Andrew like a stranger. But palace insiders reportedly noticed something felt wrong. They sensed tension between Meghan and Andrew. Sources claim Andrew's household was unhappy about the servant remark. That moment may explain why his staff later leaked the relationship. Now consider Meghan's unexplained years before Suits, when she was reportedly active in elite social environments. Years with limited clarity. Photos later surfaced online showing women on yachts with Prince Andrew at exclusive events. When Meghan's name was mentioned, the official response claimed the women weren't her. Images from around 2010 were heavily examined.
Brian or others, that they will really spill the beans, and therefore, best to keep them close, both of them, and that's they walk this tightrope. There's speculation. There's been leaks to the press that there's been a summit at Balmoral, and they're talking as a result of my book about what they can do. That's all window dressing. Nothing will happen. Nothing will change.
What stands out is how fast those discussions disappeared. Fact-checking sites moved quickly. The palace stayed silent, but media outlets suddenly insisted it wasn't Meghan. Why rush to shut it down? If there was nothing there, why not ignore it? Why mobilize per efforts to stop speculation about shared social circles? Because even if the photos weren't Meghan, deeper investigation into elite overlaps could expose more. Author Kirby Summers documented Meghan's involvement in luxury social scenes and yacht gatherings. Meghan was photographed with wealthy individuals on boats. Andrew was known for yacht parties with Epstein and billionaires. Those circles clearly overlapped. Did Meghan and Andrew meet at one of these events? Did they share mutual connections? Did Andrew know people who later helped Meghan meet Harry? These are the questions the palace never wanted examined.
I got approached by a guy named Jeff Rayner, who spoke to me and said, "I can change your image," he said. The idea was that these would all be candid shots, discreet, no one would know they were posed or anything. It would be just me doing my routine daily. I was feeling that this was very hokey and hammy.
This is where things become more revealing. King Charles has made unusual moves regarding Andrew recently. Despite stripping his titles, Charles reportedly calls him often, allows limited staff access, and softens consequences privately. Why? Charles is known for protecting the monarchy at all costs. He had no issue dismantling Andrew publicly. So why show compassion in private? What information does Andrew hold that worries him? Sources claim Charles is trying to control what Andrew might disclose about royal matters beyond Epstein. Information about who knew what and when, especially regarding Meghan's background. Charles reportedly compared Meghan to Sarah Ferguson early on, an outsider marrying in, praised at first, then surrounded by chaos. Charles predicted Meghan's path, but did he know more than patterns? Did he know about her links to Andrew's social world? Did he try warning Harry and get dismissed?
The thing is, I'm not going to go down to this point. I'm going to answer your questions, but that's done. It's finished. I've answered it. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next question.
This is just the starting point of this year in your life that you've written about.
Thank you very much.
It's pivotal. It's what started the whole thing.
Thank you.
You do write, though, that this tabloid scandal, in fact, you almost feel thankful for it. It let you, review your life, see where you were.
Royal biographer Nigel Cawthorne said Charles foresaw major trouble with Meghan joining the family. He recognized warning signs from past experiences with Andrew and Fergie, and before that, Diana. Catherine's response is just as telling. She has remained silent about the Sussexes for years. No comments, no engagement, just perfect restraint. But insiders say Catherine is privately troubled by the Andrew situation, not only because of Epstein, but because of shared elite networks involving Meghan. Catherine reportedly believes Harry deserves the truth. In December 2025, new Epstein documents were released. Buried within were references to Harry and Meghan, not accusations, but proof of their media value. A March 2020 email discussed an article quoting Harry criticizing Andrew's Epstein ties. That single article generated $4 million in publicity value. One story linking Andrew and the Sussexes. The documents show Andrew's scandal and Sussex drama were tightly linked in media narratives.
I would like to look at a timeline of what's happened for Meghan, because over time she started off, and there was no question that she had her values were about forwarding Meghan. That's what it's about. And about covering that with a bit of charity work. How lovely. So she meets a prince.
Another detail adds weight. Virginia Jeffers' lawyer stated in 2021 that he wanted to depose Meghan in Andrew's case. Not because Meghan was accused, but because the lawyer believed she might have knowledge of Andrew's associations. Let that sink in. A legal representative for Epstein's victims believed Meghan potentially knew relevant information about Andrew's social world. How would she know unless she had been present in similar circles? Meghan was never deposed. The case settled, but the statement remains on record. A legal professional publicly believed Meghan held information worth investigating regarding Andrew's elite connections.
I hope people spit in your face when they see you walking down the street. I hope, they throw human feces at you because of how you really are as a person inside.
And look, I know there's a lot of rhetoric and some people won't enjoy that.
Here's the hard truth. Even if Meghan and Andrew crossed paths before Harry, even if they shared wealthy connections, the palace cannot address it publicly. Doing so would mean admitting they failed to fully vet Meghan's background. It would mean admitting they didn't map her elite associations. It would mean admitting the Sussex situation was more complicated than expected. For Harry, that reality would be painful. He left his family, damaged ties with William, strained his relationship with Charles, and stepped away from royal life, possibly without knowing the full story of his wife's past social networks.
Meghan found a way there. It's hardly surprising that she felt right at home. Soho House isn't just a club, it's a scene, a network, a place where Hollywood hopefuls rub shoulders with high society heavyweights, all while being surrounded by decor that's a little provocative.
So the palace remains quiet. They respond to individual photos when necessary, but never address the larger question of whether Meghan and Andrew moved in connected elite circles before Harry. That silence speaks volumes. Not because there's nothing there, but because addressing it opens too many doors. Look back at October 2016. Harry and Meghan had been secretly dating for 4 months. They wanted privacy. Harry wanted time. Then suddenly, a staff member from Andrew's household leaked the story to the Sunday Express. The headline revealed Harry was secretly dating American actress Meghan Markle.
Long story short, all right, I do blame Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, stain of humanity. Yes, Meghan, and I hope you're watching right now. I hope you're watching, Meghan, because you are the stain of humanity. I hope people spit in your face.
The coverage was unexpectedly flattering. Meghan was compared to Grace Kelly. Her charity work was praised. The relationship was painted as a fairy tale, almost as if the leak was meant to push the relationship into the open positively. But it came from Andrew's household. Why would his staff care about Harry's romance? Why expose something Harry wanted private? Several explanations exist. Someone may have wanted to control the narrative early, or Andrew's household may have known things about Meghan's elite background, or the leak served a strategic purpose still unclear.
Outlets because they don't like what they're going to say. It's so bizarre to me because while he complains about it, he does the same thing that everybody else does, that the royal family does.
Oh, exactly. No, they're all trading information and trying to protect their principles. But even with, my story with him and the fight with Andrew, which was, a paragraph in my book.
Tina Brown suggested the positive framing may have been intentional, but the fact it came specifically from Andrew's household remains unexplained. The timing is suspicious. Why then? Why that source? Why that tone? Harry believes he met Meghan casually through Eugenie. He believes his family rejected her out of jealousy and racism. He has no idea about the deeper background checks or concerns.
Very, very far. So I see this picture and I see that it's 2014 and Ben goes, had such a fun night with this wonderful lady, Meghan Markle, last night. Thanks, Marcus Anderson.
Is that Soho House? Probably.
I'm assuming that's Soho House.
Yeah.
Why is he thanking Marcus Anderson?
Harry doesn't know his uncle's staff leaked his relationship. He doesn't know about overlapping elite circles. He doesn't know lawyers wanted to question Meghan about Andrew. He doesn't know because everyone shielded him. The palace, security teams, even friends. No one wanted to explain the full scope. So Harry lives without complete knowledge while others know more. That's why William keeps distance. That's why Charles stays careful. That's why Catherine remains formal. They hold information Harry may not. Sources say Charles and Catherine met privately in late December to manage Andrew's situation. Not just Epstein, but elite network overlaps. Charles is reportedly considering ways to keep Andrew quiet, restoring small privileges if needed.
Yes, I mean, look, we know that the couple have been plagued by allegations that they're difficult to work for. Many people have actually left employment there and needed long-term therapy, as it was said in Vanity Fair, having worked with the Duchess. No suggestion necessarily that this chap was being bullied. Some reports that they were unhappy with.
Catherine reportedly disagrees. She wants strict boundaries. She believes giving Andrew room only causes more harm. She wants full separation and no platform. William is torn between them. Charles wants calm. Catherine wants protection. William leans toward Catherine. Because if Andrew speaks openly about elite links involving Meghan, it damages more than the Sussexes. It threatens the monarchy's credibility. It raises questions about vetting. That's why Charles wants control. That's why Catherine wants distance. Meghan has said nothing about Andrew losing his titles. Nothing about Epstein files. Complete silence. That stands out. Meghan usually speaks on major issues. She promotes truth and transparency. Yet on Andrew, silence. Because she knows what information exists. She knows what was investigated.
I feel as if the media treats women unfairly.
You don't really have an opinion. And I think it's quite fun to keep coming back with an opinion. Is that the rebel in me?
I think that might be the rebel in you.
Several decades later, Diana's son Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle have now become the big targets in the British media.
Sources say Meghan is privately very anxious. She worries Andrew may speak about shared social networks. She fears timeline questions, and she has no leverage. Andrew has nothing left to lose. The evidence suggests Meghan worked elite circles before Suits. She attended exclusive events and built connections. She met wealthy, powerful individuals. Andrew was deeply embedded in similar networks through Epstein. These circles overlapped. Meghan and Andrew likely crossed paths multiple times over years. They shared mutual connections. Eugenie helped facilitate Meghan meeting Harry. The relationship grew. Andrew's staff leaked it. When Meghan failed to recognize Andrew, it raised uncomfortable questions.
Prince Charles married Princess Diana, who was probably more of an aristocrat, more blue-blooded than he was, apparently.
How is that possible?
I think her family was more English, more going back generations. Fergie, she came after Princess Diana.
So was she famous beforehand? I know like Meghan Markle was an actor.
No.
The palace found troubling overlaps in elite social connections. They couldn't stop the wedding without explaining why, so they moved forward while managing issues privately. Now Andrew has lost everything, and information exists about those overlaps. What's being discussed confirms the palace's fears. Charles and Catherine are trying to manage the fallout, but information can't be controlled forever. The real question isn't whether Meghan and Andrew shared elite circles before Harry. It's when the full extent becomes public. Andrew knows. The palace investigated, and Meghan's silence on anything related to Andrew remains telling.